DAD, DAD is like a government body in Germany which provides scholarship for internships, PhDs, and masters. So if you want to, go in Germany and still in your bachelor's, want to, gain some technical experience while also experiencing the German culture and everything. So you can like apply in DAD wise, and that's I think your statement of purpose should align with your, resume, with your CV, and you can't lie. If you are telling that you are interested in research, if you are telling in SOP that you are interested in interview is very important because your personality and your ability to work and your personality is important because you will be working with other international applicants there. There is not only that, there are several other, and believe me, there are more than 100 international programs which you can. And 90% of the students don't even know that it exists. I mean, I've seen 90% of the time you get funding, you won't work for free there. But if there are many ways you can get into an IIT as an intern. First is very basic. You get to their website and apply to their application.
Hello everyone, my name is Aryan. I welcome you all to my podcast, The Whisper. Today we have Manas with us. He's the final year B.Tech student at Manipal University. He got that by his scholarship and currently doing internship at Aryan University of Science and Technology. One of the most inspiring thing about him that he was rejected 23 times before cracking his first foreign internship. In this episode, we will be going with a full roadmap to get your first foreign internship. Thank you, Manas, for joining us for this episode.
Oh, thank you so much, Aryan. And I love to be a part of this podcast.
So, Manas, let's start this episode with a very important question. Like, how do you maintain your motivation after getting rejected for 23 times? Like, generally, we all get just demotivated after like one or two failures, and you're just staying till the 24th or 25th time. Like, how do you do this all?
I think this was in my mind that no matter whatever happens, no matter how many times I get rejected, I'll keep applying again and again. And I kept full faith in my applying. I knew that I have 4 years to apply, and I'll keep applying no matter how many times I got rejected. But it's not about only about rejections. Every time I got rejected, I used to review my application, and I used to figure out the things which went what are things what went wrong, and what are the areas I need to improve in order to get selected next time. So this is what I did, and keep improving 23 times, and 24th was an
Like Manas, in this episode we are completely talking about the like foreign internship, scholarship, and all. So you cracked like that by scholarship. So what is it like if a student or someone starting with it? Can you explain what is it? How you can start with it?
Okay, so DAD is like a government body in Germany which provides scholarship for internships, PhDs, and masters. So if you want to, go in Germany and you're still in your bachelor's, you want to, gain some technical experience while also experiencing the German culture and everything. So you can like apply in DAD wise, and that's a program working internship in science and engineering. That's for WISE. And there is also one another program which is DAD RISE, research internship in science and engineering. So you can apply in those programs, and if you get selected, you get funding from DAD, you get travel funds, you get paid as stipend to complete a research internships. So yeah, and it can be like really valuable for a resume if you are looking forward to pursue masters, even if you want to go for a job.
Like how many colleges are there under this program? Like is there any specific? And what are the countries in which you can apply?
This is DAD. Okay, the DAD thing. Almost all the universities in Germany are under the DAD program. You can get selected in any of the university, and you are eligible for a DAD scholarship. There is no, requirement that even you have to get selected in that university to be eligible for DAD. No, you can get DAD scholarship, and you can be in any university in Germany, and you can still get it.
So So, like, what is the starting process for this DART? Because generally we see that in DART, mainly the students are from IITs or like some top tier one colleges. I haven't seen like many students from tier three colleges or like private colleges. So, what is the process for a general student, not about student studying in a tier one college or any like?
Okay. Okay, I agree with the fact that there are students from tier one colleges like IITs and top NITs from ISER, and you have must have seen those students highly getting into that programs or top internships abroad. But there are also students from tier three and tier four colleges getting into these programs. The thing about them is they don't get noticed easily. They are not everywhere. They don't publicly present themselves. So that's what I think. There are students from tier three and tier four universities getting into DART, getting into MITAX, getting into CERN, but they are not openly, publicly, claiming or presenting themselves in public. That's why you don't know much of the students. But as for the IITs, if the IIT tag is enough to get you enough publicity, so that's why you have seen more IITs and NIT students in these.
So it's like a misconception that students from mainly tier one colleges.
Yeah, it's totally a misconception. Students from tier three, tier four colleges are also eligible for that, and if their profile is good, if they have relevant skill set, if they are working hard, I mean, it's not that hard to get a DART, to become a DART vice.
So, like moving on, what is the procedure for it? Like pre-request for moving on with the procedure. What are the pre-requirements for applying?
Okay. When you go to DART, when you search DART wise, or there is the application requirement, they will ask for a CV, they'll ask for a letter of recommendation, and DART wise has a eligibility of 8.5 CGPA. It requires 8.5 CGPA to apply. But there is another way which is not restricted to CGPA criteria, and is that you convince any professor from any university in Germany to take you as an intern. If your profile is good, if you are deeply into research but your CGPA is not that good, you can still get funding from that. If any professor from Germany is willing to take you as an intern, so what he can write a letter to DART, he can request for funds for you. So that's how you can. That's the another way you can be a DART.
So, like, if a student get like 8.5 CGPA and he is doing like great in he has great knowledge about his domain. So, what will be the procedure to apply for that when the application will start, and like what is the complete procedure? What are the documents and other
Okay, the documents are almost like same in every international internship. Like you need a CV, you need a transcript, you need 2 or 3 strong letter of recommendations, and you need a statement of purpose. Statement of purpose is very important. You need to have a clarity on what you want to do, and I think that's it. These are the most important documents, and other documents may vary upon program and which program you're applying, which internship you're applying, to which university you're applying. They can depend.
So, when did the application like start? In which month it start, and what is the process? How much time it takes to completely done with the procedure?
Most of the applications, what I have seen in that, starts by Feb or March, and they take for summer intakes only. And I don't know about winters because I've been to there in summer, so I don't know much about winters. But they start application in the months of Feb and March.
So, like,
keep checking these months.
Like in any foreign internship, like maybe in like research internship specifically, the statement of purpose is the most important thing. I believe. So, what is the procedure like? What should you add in the statement of procedure? Like, it doesn't become like boring or monotonous and all. So, what should be the thing you should put in the SOP, and what should you not put in the SOP?
I think your statement of purpose should align with your, resume, with your CV, and you can't lie. Like, if you are telling that you are interested in research, if you are telling in SOP that you are interested in research, like for example, take one field, like I am from electronics. So if you are saying that I'm interested in research in micro, so your CV and your resume should reflect that. Okay, like you should have publications, you should have conference paper, So if you have mentioned that you are interested in research and your CV and your resume doesn't contain anything which depicts that you are interested in research, which you haven't done anything related to research, so that would be a red flag for any. So it's important to align all everything in SOP, to write a clear motivation, to have the clarity what you want to do, write whatever you have done, how you have done, how much you have contributed, what's your contribution, and how much you have learned from that contribution. So it's important to, you know, uh, to write a very good SOP.
So do you think before applying to the DART specifically, you should have some experience of research internship in Indian colleges? Like, is it
Yeah,
any
if you have,
important?
it will help. It will help if you have already have research internship experience in some of the top Indian colleges, and even if they're not in top, but you have a good research internship program. So in India itself, it can be a helpful, it can be a green flag for your application when you're applying for that. So it can help, but there are other things if you haven't been able to get into any internship program in India. You can do some projects, you can do some good projects, you can do some research publications, you can do some conference paper, and that these things also.
So, like, how one can be started a research internship in India? Like, if he wants to gain some experience, or maybe in his college, how he should approach professor? Because in a research internship, most of the professors see first, then if you have done any research work prior to applying for this internship.
Okay, most of the professor see that whether you have specific experience or not, but most of the professor also see that whether you have skills or not. They don't see experience.
Yeah.
Every I mean 90% of the colleges in India have this serve program. So they where they take interns from other colleges in India or abroad as a research internship program. Even all the IITs have this serve program. Okay, student undergrad research fellowship. All the IITs have, all the NITs had this program. Even my colleges had this program. Even BITS had this program. So what you can do is go to individual website, check on that when the colleges are accepting the application for SERV program. So you can apply in that, and if you can get selected, that's it.
I just forgot to pass about that part. Like, is there any interview process also? Like, some professor take your interview, or it's just a application? Like, you have to submit the application.
No, there is an interview process, and interview is very important because your personality and your ability to work and your personality is important because you will be working with other international applicants there. So it's important to make a coordination. You have to be a team player. So it should reflect in your character. So it's important to have good characters.
Would be great, like, if you can tell us some more questions, like what are the questions you have faced in your interview, how difficult it is, and how to answer them. Most
It wasn't very difficult. I would say he asked me about my technicals. All the about 90% questions were technical, from for which field I did apply to, and 10% questions were from my personal life. What are my hobbies and what I do in my free time, and do I have any extracurricular activities which I do in my college apart from my academics. So these things count. Extracurricular do also reflect your character, do also reflect your personality. Yeah.
so, Manas, if I talk, like, maybe every student may be not able to crack bar, but he may or she may have the desire to get in for an internship. So, is there any other option rather than going to DART for a foreign internship, like in
Yeah.
USA or in Canada?
There is not all okay. There is not only that. There are several other, and believe me, there are more than 100 international internship programs which you can have. And 90% of the students don't even know that it exists. So it's just about the passion and awareness you need to have. I've seen average people with a 7 and 7.5 CGPA getting into paid internship programs in Taiwan, in Japan, which most of the people aren't aware of. So that's the fact. We should be aware of what we need.
Like, can you please tell some of the program, like famous program, other than that, which student can apply?
Okay, that is very famous among, that is not quite famous, I would say. Son is very famous. Sun, most of the people watching this podcast must have heard about Sun. Sun, there is Deep Taiwan, which is funded. There's OIST Japan, there, and if you want to go to US, there is Caltech Surf program, and Stanford also has the Surf program. Okay, there is Japan, Deep Taiwan, there is Dartwise, and there is OECD internship in France. Okay, so there are many more. I just named few. If you
That's
go on
fine.
Google, just search it and you will find it.
So guys, I will be just providing you with the link of all these programs in the description, so you can check out all the programs. Okay. So, like, what is the next procedure? Like, if I'm doing finding internship, maybe I didn't get a scholarship or at all for the internship. So how can I be just started with the internship? Like, if I directly going to apply with the professor only, like I just read some story that someone has applied directly to the MIT professor and he just got into that and with the full funding. So yeah, so do you think that most of the professor in like foreign country provide you with the funding for your research?
I mean, I've seen 90% of the time you get funding, you won't work for free there. But if some cases, if there is some issue with the fundings and they weren't able to fund you, you can do it remotely. And when you do it remotely, chances are high if your work is good, they will pay you next time. So it's not bad to do an internship remotely, but if you can prove yourself that you are a worthy applicant in a remote basis, then they will obviously be very happy to have you on site.
So, like, if I'm just only heading to a professor, there's a 99%
Mhm.
chance he's going to reply me. Like, generally, in cold email, there's a success rate of like 1 or 2%. So, what should be the my cold email contain that the professor can't stop him from replying to my mails?
Okay, first in your cold email, stop putting unnecessary details. That I say when I used to cold email, I don't even used to mention which college I am, because that's irrelevant. No one is concerned about your college. Everyone is concerned about your skills and everything. Okay, so be straightforward what you want and how you want that, whatever you've done. Like if I'm cold mailing any professor that I want to work under him in a research project related to microwave. Okay, so I should have something related to microwave in my CV. I'll get straight to the point that I already have some experience in microwave. I have this conference paper. I want to get into this field more. Can you help me with this? So it should be straight and simple and short. It shouldn't be more than 4 to 5 minutes.
Well, you mentioned that you shouldn't mention your college. I think that if you are from not a very good college,
No,
then
no, I'm not saying that you should not mention. You can mention, but it's my ways. You can mention, you cannot, but don't fill unnecessary details here, which isn't it.
yeah, like I
Because
believe
even
like
if you don't mention, okay, even if you don't mention your college name, it won't make a difference.
But I believe like if you are mentioning your college name and you are not from a very good college, it might get a negative impact on professor because in foreign also IITs are quite famous. IITs and like Western are quite famous. So I think it might create a negative impact on that student is not from a very good known college.
Yeah, you can think of it like that. But if you are from IITs, half of the opportunities are already open just because of the name tag. So if you are not from IITs, you have to play smarter to get the opportunities.
So, like, if you are going from some famous scholarship programs and all like that or some and all, so do you think that is there any problem in getting visa requirements? You know, because one of the major concerns was
Yeah,
is there.
I think, yeah, visa, okay. Visa, I think visas, experience with the visa can depend on person to person. Like if it went smooth for me, it's not necessary that it will went smooth for you. You might have difficulty in finding visa appointments. You might have difficulty in finding flights, cheap flights. So it depends on person to person, but yeah, I mean, I can't really comment on visas because everybody has different experience with visas. But if the program you got selected is highly reputed in that country, I don't
Yes.
think so. You will face any more difficulty with visas.
Yes, so they are maybe yeah, some students who are not interested in getting into foreign internship, maybe interested in getting into IIT as a research intern, and you have done a particular research internship in IIT Patna also. So can you share your some experience of like what was your experience and how you crack this that internship?
Okay, working in IITs is like you get the exposure of IIT. How IITs, why IITs are so popular in it. When I went to IIT Patna, I was like surprised because it's so big and everything is available inside. Every facility, every component of electronics, and everyone here is genuinely passionate in his field. When I was working under a professor, and like he was very knowledge in my field, and I used to I used to go to him and ask about what can I do, and he was very nice to me. He used to guide me. So when you meet people of very who are very much knowledgeable in your field, you feel good about where you have come from and where you are working. So yeah, ITs, I think interning in ITs is also necessary for tier 2 to tier 3 colleges because it gives you an idea of how good people are in your field and how hard you have to work to get to that.
Like what is the procedure for applying to any IIT, not specifically IIT Patna, but any IIT for us? So, but there's so many
Okay,
programs in IITs.
okay. There are many ways you can get into an IIT as an intern. First is very basic. You get to their website and apply to their application portal. Second is through reference, and I would highly suggest you choose the second option because first option is really difficult. I mean, tons and tons of students apply through first option, but there are very few who go through referrals, and going through referral is much more easier than going through the first application.
Okay,
Ask any professor in your college whether he knows someone who is working in IIT and he or she could take you as an intern or not. I think that would be much more easier to get an internship in IITs.
you just talked about going through reference is much easier than directly to the IIT research internship.
Obviously, networking helps. That's why people start networking because with networking you can get to places where you can't even think of going from simple application. So that's the difference of networking and connects.
Yeah, my next question was like on about networking, how to do networking, and what role does networking play in your life, like starting with your college journey till now getting internship and all.
Okay, when you start with networking, when you start connecting with people, with different people, okay, for me, I started posting my journey on LinkedIn and many people started noticing. So when many top professors from other universities started approaching me for whether I am available for internship. So what happens when you network, when you start networking, when you present yourself to the world that yes, you are available to, you have this skill and you can work on this. So what happens? It will eventually reach to someone who is looking for that skill. Okay, so that's what networking can help. It can sometimes lands you in a company where you can't even imagine you will land. Networking, I think one of the internship in where I'm currently working in NTNU Norway, and that was completely through networking. I didn't even apply to that university. So that's the example of networking, like how beneficial can networking be.
But why someone could reply to me, like as a person? Why someone was not getting any benefit from me, like not getting any value from me? Like if someone was a professor or like doing a job in a MNCs and like or doing studying in a great college, why would he reply to me? He's not getting anything out of me.
Yeah, okay, I think that's the wrong mentality to have. If you already have started thinking that why would anyone reply? That's not the case. I mean, that's really not the case. There might be some professors who won't reply, but there might be some professors who are willing to take complete fresher as an intern under him. So you just need to find those professors. So I mean, don't think like that. Don't think like that. Everyone is willing to have a non-experienced person as an intern. You just need to find that person.
Like coming to a very important, interesting question. Why do you choose EEE over CSE? Like tell us that you are getting a CSE, but you choose EEE. So what? Why do you choose? Like because mainly in India, we just choose to go with the CS background. So why do you choose that?
Okay, it's a very interesting story. I have this mentality of not going where everyone is going. So I didn't have any interest in electronics. Let's be very honest. I didn't have any interest in electronics. I chose electronics because very few people were choosing. I don't want to go somewhere where everybody is going, and I wanted to choose a different path. So that's why I chose electronics. I mean that might sound very weird to most of the guys out there, but it's fine. It's my own thinking, it's my own perspective, and I'm still saying that when I chose electronics, I was not interested in electronics. But as I started working electronics, as I started getting result, my interest showed in this electronics, and now I can say that I'm interested.
Like there are some misconception about like electronics mainly that in electronics you are not getting job in India and it's not a good choice to go with electronics. And second one is that electronics is quite difficult and computer science. Third is like you can't get practical application of electronics without getting into college. But in CS you can easily do practical things with your just a laptop. But for electronics you need proper hardware devices. So, what are your ideas about these businesses?
Okay, if you're talking about for hardware devices, for every hardware there is a software simulation. There is a software which can simulate the hardware. So I don't think so that you need to have the hardware experience to get into electronics. And as far as the job opportunities are concerned, I do agree that CSC offers more opportunities. But the fact that CSC graduates are more unemployed than electronics, and is that also depicts that there are opportunities in electronics, and it's an upcoming booming field. So I won't say that there don't have opportunities in electronics. There are. You just need to have a skilled person to get into this field. You can't get into this field if you're not skilled, if you're not hard, and it's hard. And it's true that it's hard. Not everyone can, manage to study whole the digital electronics and keep it in the memory. It's hard. It's harder than CSC. As for my perspective, don't get it.
Yeah, I see that as government is promoting more and more manufacturing, maybe government just started with the electronics, like semiconductor manufacturing. I think like in India especially, demand for the electronics engineering is going to be go exponential. Since we have a shortage of good electronics engineering. Like we have electronics engineer, but there is a shortage of good quality engineers in India.
The salaries will also grow exponentially of an expected person. That's how I've observed and talked to people in the industry, and they told this that salaries of an electronic engineer in VLSI grows exponentially.
So, like, what is VLSI? Like, you are from specifically from a VLSI domain. So, what is VLSI?
Mhm. Okay, VLSI is basically I won't go into full form. Its full form is very large scale integration. So what happens is you have it out of a chip. Like you design a chip, you write its code, and everything related to chip comes under VLSI. So yeah, that's how you can understand.
Have you done any like written any research paper before applying to research opportunity outside India?
Yeah, I when I applied to that, I already had two conference paper. Okay, in microwave engineering, I designed some antenna which has some novelty, so I made it to the conference paper. So I think that's also you can say that having conference paper helped me to stand out in that wise internship. So that's
Since you have done so many internship in you have done two internship outside India and one internship in IIT. So how was your experience in doing internship outside India, like meeting new people, contacting with the professors with new mentality, new thinking and all, get opportunity to know more about the technology. So how was your experience overall?
I love interning abroad. I would say I love going abroad and learning and meeting different people from different countries, especially the professors who are working in my field. And I love networking. And I won't compare and doing internship in India and doing internship abroad, but I love internship. Like when you go abroad, you experience a culture which is different from what we are living in India right now. The cultural differences, the people with different mindset, the people with different ambition, the people with different thinking, and the people who genuinely have passion for what they are doing. When you meet these kinds of people, it opens your perspective of what can be done in your field. So it's really good.
If we have shown at a specific point, then we don't want to listen to others' point. That's why I just asking that it make create a barrier between conversation.
These kinds of people who don't listen to, who are not open to feedbacks, who are not open to criticism, are the types of people who don't get much ahead in the career. You have to be open to the feedback, you have to be open to criticism, you have to accept the fact that okay, it's my mistake, I will correct it, and this type of mentality will grow. And that's why most of the international internship professor, they conduct a short meeting before calling the intern in the content, because they judge the students. How is he egoistic? No, he should not be egoistic. He won't be able to work with my team. So that's also important.
Are there any like resources and all which you used for getting into the for the internship and all? Any specific resources, mentorship?
Okay, everything is available on Google for free, and there are some people on LinkedIn who post about how to frame a good SOP, how to make your resume a better document. So there are people, you have to follow them, you have to read their posts, you have to keep a note of everything which is informative and which can be helpful in improving your SOP and resume. So everything is available out there. It's just you need to have the passion to collect it.
Since you have mentored so many students for and helping them get into the foreign universities and all, what things you believe that are the most significant challenges faced by students in this procedure?
I think most of the students I have met is they are not willing to try again after one rejection. They consider themselves a failure just after one rejection, and that's the difference between a selected applicant and a rejected applicant. If someone is got selected, no one is got selected for first time. I mean, there are prodigy people, but let's not get into those. I have rejected so many times, but I kept on applying, and that's what made difference in my life. And if those people who are getting rejected stop worrying about rejection, start improving your application, and one day you will definitely get accepted.
I think that's why the mentorship becomes so important because at a specific point of time when you are dealing with like 4 or 5 pages, you don't know what you are doing wrong. And at that point, student think like I've done everything correct, but still I'm rejecting. That's why he just stopped trying again. That's the importance of mentorship,
Yeah, yeah.
specifically in this thing.
And I'm not the only one who is publicly saying that applying in crash internships and I was rejected this many times. There are people on LinkedIn who are posting better content than me. You have to follow them, you have to read their posts, you have to get their insight, how they have done that. So I think it will be helpful.
So, what are the specific skills you saw students having who really cracked internship and all, and you himself you believe that these are the must skills for any student?
Okay, if you're applying in specific field. If you're applying computer science, if you're applying electronics, you should have skill in your domain only. And I won't go into that because you need to be skilled in whatever you are working and in whatever you apply. But apart from the skills perspective, you need to have a good amount of extracurricular, which can depict your leadership ability. Because leadership abilities are also important. Leadership abilities are important. Your ability to work with the team is also important. So what you can do, you can uh, mention some projects, mention some team projects which you have done in which can depict your teamwork. So that will reflect as a green flag in your application.
Manas, like one problem which I specifically saw in college student, maybe in not only in my college only, but in all other colleges which are like not very good colleges, is that the student who is doing great in his school life, maybe not academically, but doing great in extracurricular activities and all, he just get to his downfall was start after getting into college because he just saw his peers that they are doing nothing. Why I should do something? So how do you get yourself motivated that I have to crack internship? Like if others are not doing anything, but I have to be motivated that I have to do something special.
Okay, I think if someone, if your circle is not doing anything, and that sets an example that what like for example, if my roommate is not doing anything, if he's not ambitious, and if he's just focusing on other things which is totally irrelevant in their career, he's not doing anything for his career. So that gives me an set of ideas that what are the things I don't need to do in my life, because I am different. I have to support my family. My family is not rich, who comes from a rich businessman family. I'm come from a middle class. I can't be like him. I won't do the things which he is doing. You can take it as that. I won't do the things which he is doing. I will do things differently on my own to be a successful, student, to be a successful employer. So that's how you can think.
Manas, like we are approaching towards like August, and most of the college start their new session in August only. And students who are joining college in August as their first year. So, what advice would you give to them who are looking to really do something special in their college career? What they should do in these 2 months, like June and July, so that they can get ahead of curve.
Okay. Most students after second or third year regret that their CGP is not good. So the first thing first is try to maintain a decent CGP, because even if you say it or not, but CGPA does play an important role in any of the application programs. Okay, so CGPA is important. You maintain it. Enjoy as much as you can. Your college life is once in a lifetime experience. You have to enjoy it to the fullest. But it's also important to maintain your CGPA. You don't have to and what other things you can do is take up leadership role in the clubs of your college. That's much easier. That will reflect your leadership role. Do as many projects as you can in your first year. Explore as much as you want. Okay, exploring is also important. Explore the clubs, explore your field, and yeah, do projects, learn some skills, hit and try everything. So it's important to explore in your first year. Second year, until you enter your second year, you need to have the clarity that okay, I've explored enough in my first year. Now in my second year, I'll work on it.
Manas, do 11th and 12th, 10th and 12th marks matter in your research internship procedure?
Definitely not. Your 10th and 12 marks definitely doesn't matter a lot. It can impact your application, but it doesn't matter as much as you think that it will matter. In research internship, your research background and your willingness to do research, and your already research articles, if you have already have conference paper, and if you already have conference paper, if you already have publications, no one is going to see your CGPA, no one is going to see your 11th and 10th marks, because that's totally irrelevant.
What are your goals like in future after completing your internship? You are just approaching your college end. So, what are your some goals you want to share?
Okay, I don't know, but currently I have a goal of doing masters abroad, studying abroad. So this is I'm preparing for. I've already done 2 internships abroad, so I think going abroad for a masters would open a lot of opportunities in this.
So what is the last piece of advice you would give to any student who is looking to get into the research?
Okay, if you are getting into research for the sake of getting into research, don't don't come here because research is a different path. You have to work hard, and it's, if you're thinking that publishing and writing a conference paper is easy, writing and publishing an article is easy, it's not. It's harder than maintaining a CGP. Believe me. So it's not easy. It's difficult. It requires hard work. It requires focus. It requires time. So yeah, getting into research is not hard. So if only if you're passionate, only if you are willingness to improve your profile and willingness to do research, then only enter this.
So we are just heading towards the end of this episode. But before ending, we have a special rapid fire round for all our guests. So in this rapid fire round, I will be asking you like 4 to 5 questions, and you have to try to answer them as fast as you can answer.
Yeah, sure, sure.
So we are ready.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite project you have worked on now, like out of your 3 internships?
Okay, I'm currently working in India in Norway, and I'm designing the PCB. Really like designing the PCB. So yeah, it's fine.
Biggest challenge you faced so far?
Uh, Biggest challenge I faced was getting a visa. Getting a visa was most difficult challenge I've seen. Visas are really a headache. I would say. I was really
Research.
happy when I got the message that my visa was approved. So yeah, it was the happiest feeling.
Any researcher or scientist which admires you the most?
Any researcher which I admire.
Yeah.
Okay, there is one professor in my university, and I admire her a lot because she's highly dedicated into research, and she's the one who has guided me, who has made it possible for me to get into research. So, for me, she's my mentor, and she's everything I am now. So I give her.
Your favorite tool as a VLSI designer?
My favorite tool would be MATLAB. VLSI design MATLAB, Vivado, for I use for Verilog, PCB design, I use Easy EDS. There are many tools I like. I think I like electronics, so anything related to electronics, I like it.
One book which really shaped your career.
One book which really shaped my career.
Shaped. Yeah.
Okay, shaped my career. One book which really shaped my career, I would say The Alchemist. I've read it. Like there are many better books, but it was my first book, so I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, I read that book. It's amazing, like a story of a boy doing just
Yeah,
searching
I
for
mean
meaning.
there are better books. I
Yeah.
won't, yeah, I won't deny that there are better books. There are better books, but it was my first book, so it connects with me a lot.
So like we are just ending with this episode. So Manas, like before leaving this episode, can you tell us how student can connect you if they want a mentorship from you for the guidance program? Or
They can okay, they can connect me on LinkedIn. I'm also on TopMate. You can connect me on TopMate, and LinkedIn is the best platform you can connect with me. If you go just search with me, you can easily find me. You can message me, and I'll surely love to help you.
so like
I've
what
helped
type
more
of
than
guidance
50
you
plus
provide?
students for free. So what I'll do, I'll just straight up, look at your profile, and I'll tell you, I'll be really honest with you that what are the chances of you getting an interaction class? And what else you can do to get an interaction. So I'll guide you completely and on what you can do, what have you done, and how much you can improve your profile, and on what internships you can apply according to your profile, which where your chances of getting selected are.
Thank you, Manas, for joining us. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video. You all get your resources in the description of the video. So please don't forget to check out all the resources provided by the Manas. Thank you.